I would like to thank Undersecretary Di Caro and OCHA Director Doughton for the detailed briefings. Colleagues, it has already been a month since the Council was last seized of the war in Ukraine. One would hope that in the meantime, peace talks under the US-led initiative would have borne tangible results. After all, the United States and Ukraine agreed to a full, immediate and unconditional ceasefire almost 3 months ago, and all parties to the war, including Russia, have declared the intention to achieve a peaceful settlement. Yes, this ceasefire still eludes us on Russian responsibility. Instead of building on the promise of peace, there has been a continuation of deadly attacks in May, while noting that April, according to verified data of the Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine, becomes a deadly month not only for Ukrainian civilians in general since September 2024, but particularly for children since June 2022. As the UN humanitarian coordinator has stressed, across Ukraine, no place is safe. We echo the Secretary General's condemnation of the latest attack and join our voice with the overwhelming majority of the UN membership, which in multiple General Assembly resolutions have demanded the cessation of hostilities and the return to peace in full respect of international law and the UN Charter. Greece condemns any targeting of civilians and civilian infrastructure as a clear violation of the basic tenets of international humanitarian law and demands accountability for the perpetrators and justice for the victims. In this regard, we commend the role of UN agencies such as UNICEF for the multifaceted support to civilians and in particular to children, as well as the tireless efforts and courage of humanitarian workers who have also suffered increased casualties these last months. Colleagues, regrettably, peace efforts, culminating in the attempts at direct bilateral negotiation on May 16, did not produce any breakthrough. On the contrary, they have so far further confirmed Russia's intransigence. At the same time, the agreement for the largest exchange of prisoners of war and civilian detainees between the two sides since the start of the war is a welcome development and the only tangible deliverance of the negotiation. In closing, let me reiterate that Greece's stance through this 39th month of war has been principled and consistent in favor of international law, including international humanitarian law and the principle of the UN Charter. In that respect, we reiterate that a full, immediate and unconditional ceasefire should remain our first priority on the way to our ultimate goal of achieving, firstly, a permanent cessation of hostility, secondly, a just, comprehensive and lasting peace achieved through inclusive diplomacy in line with the UN Charter and international law that upholds Ukraine's sovereignty, independence and territorial integrity, and thirdly, security guarantees that will prevent the recurrence of war. I thank you.